Hello and welcome to Spring into Java. I am your host, Clappe, and in today's video we are going to create a bookshelf as well as create a book object to then put on said shelf. As well, we are going to create repositories for these and a quick way to search for them. So, if that sounds interesting to you, fill up that cup of coffee, sit down, and let's dive on in. So, the first thing we're going to want to do is open up our Spring Boot application, and we're going to go into the data package, where we are going to create a new model, and this model we're just going to call Bookshelf. Now, there's a couple of things we're going to annotate here. This is just going to be our getters and setters. Also, we're going to give this an entity and come down and give it a quick ID number. This is going to be our generated value, and we're just going to let this go with just an auto generated type, and just let the system pick the best one for us, or let Spring pick the best one for us. So this is going to be a private long, and it's just going to be the UID. Next, we're going to need to store a little bit of information in this bookshelf. We're going to go ahead and keep track of when it was created and the last time that it was updated. Alright, and let's go ahead and make sure we spell that correctly. Alright, now, next we're going to need to keep track of some identifying information. For example, we're going to need to keep track of the ID of the owner of the bookshelf. So we're just going to keep track of the owner's Discord ID. This is just something that will be completely unique to the bookshelf that is also going to be unique to the books within our database, because we're going to allow for multiple different users to be able to create multiple bookshelves to store different maybe somebody has a um, favorites bookshelf that they want to keep track of all of the different books that they own, or maybe they may have some sort of adventure series they want to go with. So we're also going to keep track of the name of this bookshelf. Now, in order to help be a little more clarified on that, we are going to allow our user to give their bookshelf a little description. So that it will be a little more helpful for them to uh, clarify what type of books are on there. So, next we are going to need to create a book. Uh, so we'll go back into our model and we'll just create a simple book class. Again, in here we're going to add a few annotations to start us off. There are other annotations within the Lombok family that you can use. I personally prefer to use the getter and setter versus things like the add data, where add data will generate the getters and setters. It does also have the equals and hash code that um, you may not necessarily want in your specific application. So that may create a few other methods within your class that you're not exactly looking for. So personally, I always choose to go with just the getter and setter value to be on the safe side. So once we have our general information there at the top, we're also going to need to keep track of some information about the book. So there's going to be a few things that we're looking to if you're wondering how I'm doing this, IntelliJ has something that's pretty unique to it in itself, where if you hold the middlemost button down and drag straight down through a few lines, you can actually highlight specific amounts of chunks. There's also a way where if you were to hold down the Control, Alt, and Shift, you can actually create many cursors around, which allows you to type in a rather interesting way. That's something that's unique to IntelliJ as far as I know, but let's go ahead and define a few variables in here, like the title. Uh, we're going to want to know what the title of the book is, maybe what the author is, or who the author is, as well as the theme of the book, um, maybe the description, or maybe the publisher. We'll keep track of even the published date. And that would be it for the strings. The next little bit that we're going to keep track of is how we can relate this to the shelf. So we're going to look for we're going to look to take in a private long. That would be the shelf ID. This would be the UID from the shelf class. And the other unique identifier that we're looking for here is going to be the owner's ID number, or the owner's Discord ID. And also, we're going to need some information that is specific to the book, such as its ISBN number. And because there are two versions, we're going to be taking track of both. So um, that would be another long object that we're going to keep track of. There we go. All right. So now we're going to need to create two repositories for this. So now again, IntelliJ does make this very simple, where we can just select this to create a repository, state where our repositories are going, and voila, that easy. Now we're going to need a way to get our shelves, and we're going to look to make a way to get these from the database based on the Discord ID. So we can actually click on this little action button beside here and go to Create Spring Data Repository Method, and we're looking to find a collection, and we're going to make this a collection to search for all of the bookshelves that a specific Discord owner owns. Again, Spring JPA makes this very easy for us, very user friendly. Next, we'll go take a look at the bookshelf, or the books, sorry, and we're going to want to find a way to find all of these books that are on a specific shelf. So again, we're going to go over collection, tell this that we want to create the repository in our repos section. Once it creates our book repository, we're going to make a call to find a collection of books. This is again going to be a collection, and we're looking for it for the shelf ID, as well as we're going to add a second parameter so we can be a little more specific, and we want to also state the owner's Discord ID. So now we can make a simple call to find the shelf, find the book by the shelf ID and owner's ID, so that now we can, in our next video, we are going to make a service class that will handle creating a new bookshelf, adding books to that shelf, removing books from that shelf, as well as we will create a service for creating a book object based on the ISBN number that we take in. We will be making an HTTP GET request to an external existing library. So if that sounds interesting to you, hit that subscribe button to be notified when the video comes out. If you found this video interesting, or if you like my style of teaching, hit that like button to let me know that you enjoy this. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you've learned something. And we'll see you next time in the next video.